It's hot outside, but it's also raining. That's the work of the devil, and it's because you haven't subscribed. What's up, guys? Welcome to FPL Today. Hope you're having a great day, and we are here today to discuss some of the premium options in the fantasy football FPL game. Because let's be honest, free players really stand out as the main picks to get into your side, and unfortunately they all cost 12 million or more. And the problem is we can't fit them all into our sides, or can we? Are they that important? We're going to discuss it in today's video, but before we get into it, in the comments down below, let me know what you are doing with Harry Kane, Bruno Fernandes and Mohamaed Salah. Are you having all three? Are you having two? Are you only going with one? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Also, hit that like button, or you will be stuck with a player in your FPL side that you do not want for the whole season. Like I said, I don't make the rules, but the JGov does make the rules, and if you want your comment in the next video, make sure to put some silly intro in the comments down below, and let's start talking premium players. So we're going to start off by discussing the Liverpool lad Mohamaed Salah, as we will talk about Bruno Fernandes and Harry Kane after, but I'm not completely ignoring the likes of Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, and other premium players like Heung-min Son and Aubameyang. But let's be real, these three players are the best premium choices as far as their recent history in the Fantasy Premier League game. Now, if Kevin De Bruyne manages to nail down a first team place and doesn't get injured, he will of course be included in this conversation, but Pep Roulette is a real thing and we have to be concerned about that. Raheem Sterling has had some great seasons as well and could be capable of bringing something like that back to the forefront, and Aubameyang is a world-class striker. Heung-min Son, who knows what's going to happen at Tottenham Hotspurs. But going off of history, going off of how clubs currently are, and going off of potential future transfers, these three are the most important for FPL seasons. But do we need all of them? Can we afford all of them? That's what we're going to discuss. We start off with Mohamaed Salah, and as you can see from last season, he was actually the lowest scoring of the three with 231 points. It's actually his worst season in the Fantasy Premier League. However, he still scored 22 goals and got 6 assists in a Liverpool side that didn't really do that well. So that's still something in his cap. However, also you can see that he does outperform his XG, which should have been 21.76, and what you'll notice with a lot of these players is they do very well compared to their XG, showing how good they are. XA wasn't as great. You could potentially blame that on the players around him and not performing to the level they're expected of, but he should have scored last season 251 points. That was his expected points, and he has a good run of fixtures. Yes, I put Leeds as a favourable fixture there because, to be honest, you'd hope a good Liverpool side on form with everyone fit should beat Leeds. So that's Norwich, Burnley, Leeds and Crystal Palace in the first 5. And if we actually look back over how he's done previously in seasons before this one, we can see that this is a common occurrence. In the 2019-21 season, he managed to get 19 goals. He did underperform his XG. He should have got 21.07 according to that metric. He managed to get 10 assists with his expected assists at 11.87. And he got 233 points. And for those that play Fanteam, he has plenty of shots on target in both of those seasons, being 50 in each season. And then in the 2018-19 season, he got 22 goals compared to a 21.91 XG and expected assists at 13.05, but he managed to get 12 and he got 259 points in that season. So I think if Liverpool are on form, and even if they weren't on form, he still managed to get 232 points. Mohamaed Salah is a very credible pick. We move on to Bruno Fernandes, and he is just as good a pick. 244 points last season, coming in at 12 million, 18 goals, 14 assists. Absolutely fantastic numbers, which is why he's seen this price rise. And him and Mohamaed Salah seem to be the most popular picks, of course, because of their previous seasons and because of the issues around Kane with the transfer. Will he stay at Spurs? Will he go to Man City? Will he be happy if he does get stuck at Spurs? So everyone's going Bruno and Mohamaed Salah. XG last season was 17.64 and expected assists at 13.41. Expected points at 242.5, his underlying stats. Again, the fixtures for Man United are very favourable at the start of the season, and with Sancho coming in, of course, it could favour him and allow him to go forward more and score more goals because he doesn't have to create as much. it could hinder him. He might be asked to sit back a little bit more. So there is some question marks around Bruno Fernandes, but with those fixtures the way they are, and of course penalties in his locker, Bruno Fernandes is just as viable a pick as Mohamed Salah. If we look back at the season before this one, he of course came in late, coming in the January transfer window. For that season, he had 14 appearances, so you have to take his numbers into consideration with that. And he managed 8 goals and 8 assists, so 16 goal contributions. His expected assist was actually at 2.88, so he shouldn't have got that many assists. And his expected goals was at 6.68. So Bruno Fernandes stands just as tall as Mohamed Salah as far as being viable for our FPL sides. But the player we really made this video to talk about is, of course, Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane does have the whole transfer story around him going into this season. Will he go to City? Will he stay at Spurs? However, he has had a resurgence recently, managed to get 242 points last season. That's 23 goals and 14 assists from an expected goals of 19.89 and expected assists at 10.74. So really outperforming those expected goals and assist numbers. His expected points should have only been 209.7. Now, he does have City in the first fixture, or potentially has Spurs. He does have Chelsea in the 5th one, but there's Wolves, Watford and Crystal Palace there. And he is a striker that generally outperforms his expected goals and played for Spurs. If he moves to City, you're looking at someone of Kane's quality with the team behind him that Man City own. So I'm really concerned about not owning Harry Kane because his numbers are just as good, if not better, than Mohamed Salah's and Bruno Fernandes's. So I'm really concerned about not having Harry Kane. If we look at previous seasons gone, Harry Kane, the season before last, managed to get 18 goals and only 2 assists. So he's really increased his assist numbers. But he got 18 goals from expected goals of 13.06. Man City are a side that create chances of high expected goal rates. They often get down in the half space, down the right or left, and whip the ball into areas where a player like Harry Kane could have a field day. So if he outperforms his expected goals and Man City causes expected goals to rise significantly, we could be looking at a player scoring the most points this season significantly if everything gels at City. Even if he stays at Spurs, he is still the main man there and plays 90 minutes and will be a focal point for that Spurs attack. We've seen what happened to Raul Jimenez in a Nuno team. What could potentially be done with Harry Kane in Nuno's Spurs? And then the season before that, Kane managed 17 goals from expected goals of 16.27. That's the 2018-19 season. And he managed 6 assists from expected assists of 6.64. So my argument is, if we take all of those players into consideration and compare them to any other premium last season, the next highest performer in the Fantasy Premier League was Heung-min Son. Of course, how good he will be does rely on what Nuno does and if Kane stays or goes. He comes in at a much cheaper price than the likes of Kane, Salah and Fernandes and managed to get 17 goals last season and got 11 assists. But that was his best performing season recently, and a lot of that had to do with Kane's performances as well. Then we have Jamie Vardy. He got 187 points. Rashford got 174. Mane got 176. And Sterling got 154. De Bruyne himself, a lot of this is to do with injuries, but he did play 25 games, got 141 points. So apart from Son last season, and a lot of that was to do with playing with Harry Kane in that Spurs side, Fernandes, Kane and Salah are the best 3 players. I know that sounds obvious to say, but then if they're the best players, do we need to fit them into your side? It is a massive amount of your budget being eaten up. Of course, you're looking at £37 million for 3 players. But potentially, I'd argue that that might be the best route to go, because otherwise you're just going to be trying to gamble of when to bring those 3 players in, switching between a pairing of 2 of those 3, and there's the potential, of course, you get it wrong, because these guys can get points against any opposition. It would make the captaincy call an absolute headache for you on some game weeks, but standalone these 3's numbers are just significantly better than anyone else in the league. And with a significant amount of mid-priced forwards and some very decent cheap midfielders that we could be selecting and an abundance of £4.5 million defenders. If you got it right, who knows what could happen if you had all three of these in your side. And as for Fanteam, these three easily outperform anyone for shots on target. So guys, again, in the comments down below, let me know which of these three you are putting in your side, if it's all of them, if it's one or two. As well as in the comments down below, leave a stupid intro for me to do if you want to see me highlight you in the next video. We will be back with another video on Friday, 7 PM in the evening, British summertime. So make sure to check that video out Friday night. If you haven't liked this video already, you know what happens to your FPL side. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.